PERS and all of the people that participate in PERS know well in advance what rates are going to be doing so that they can address those. So I just don't want that to get lost.
Let me just flesh that one out a little bit. My understanding is they're doing an excellent job of communicating the next several biennia. I'm not sure that while it's possible that people could ultimately figure out what the long-term tail of this is going to look like, I don't know if they really have internalized the long term.
I think we have, actually. I mean, having now been several years on the PERS board, we not only give very detailed employer-by-employer advisory rates, and before we set final rates, include all these factors. But we give repeatedly, at least every 6 months, if not every 3 months, projections going out all the way to the end of the amortization period and biennia beyond. So we go out well beyond my lifespan on these tables. And then we show simulations on different returns. We show Monte Carlo simulations and different connections. And Director Oatman has gone and done road shows throughout the state, employers in every part of the state, as well as web things, showing that this is where we're going. So I think we both projected fairly and given decades forward visibility. Now, whether or not employers, from a fire district to my own, have fully grasped and have a plan, I think that's a different question. But in terms of visibility all the way out, I think the record's there. I think the numbers are there, and I have to say the agency's done a really good job, in my opinion, giving that kind of forward visibility, and I use those charts all the time.
And I would echo that from what Lawrence is saying. For my internal advice to the governor, Nick and Alana both know that my internal projections are a 10-year planning horizon. As we build those on a biennial budget basis, we have built in 3 biennia in a row of single or double collar increases to see where we get to equilibrium by the end of that. So within a 6-year planning horizon, I have actually seen where we've reached equilibrium based on what information we've received, and then I've got 2 biennia after that to see what it looks like beyond that. So we're doing the same thing, and I think we've had very good help from the PERS board on getting that information.
Okay, so what I'm very willing to stand corrected on this. What I will tell you is, having had specific conversations with different people, not everybody believes they have that information. Yeah. So it's entirely possible that it's being provided and they're not sure how to interpret it, or you guys may have asked the right questions. I don't know the answer to that. What I would tell you is, out of those 900 employers, and by the way, I am not in any way suggesting that anybody's not doing what they're supposed to do. What I'm saying is this is extraordinarily complicated. And you have a lot of variability in those 900 employers. Some of whom, I forget, when you talked about the Monte Carlo simulation, I think it'd be an interesting conversation for people to say, what do you think the Monte Carlo simulation does? So, and I'd have to get the definition myself. So the point I'm trying to get here is, if you take something like this, which is going to go out over a long period of time, it has lots of assumptions in it, and it's going to start having a very specific impact on services and constituents. The question is, are people really connecting the dots of what is this going to look like over the next 20 years, and what steps can I take to change that trajectory? Or is that like gravity that I can't change it, or is there something I can do? And I think the point that I'm trying to get at with this idea that the plan is part of the deal here, or it's part of the program. I think we started with this, with the incentive. We started with just the incentive. I think just an incentive is valuable, but if you don't actually take it to the next step, which is have people build a plan to get to the goal, and then have them monitor the plan along the way, I think you miss the opportunity to say this has got to be a bigger element than just saying I've got a one-shot incentive here that people may or may not take advantage of. Sorry.